Hey, welcome to our little visual meeting here. My name is Mike LaVoy. I am joined with Kelly Wiliams and William McKissock. We are going to cover a little bit. Hey, Kelly. William, are you there?
I'm here.
We're going to cover a little bit today of what William does for a living. Hey, William, give us an idea of who you are and what you do.
Yeah, my name is William McKissock. I'm with a company called Schooley Mitchell. We are North America's largest expense reduction company. We effectively go into businesses and we help them save money, looking at specific areas like telecom, credit card processing, shipping costs, and waste costs. We provide an audit of those services. It takes us normally about 4 to 6 weeks to do that audit, and we only charge fees from our clients if we find savings and if they accept our recommendations on our savings reports. So there's nothing to lose for these clients. If they're on the best rates, we'll confirm it. If they're not, we will negotiate better deals for them.
Where is Schooley Mitchell located?
The company is headquartered in Stratford, Ontario. So it's southern Canada. We've got over 150 offices across the United States and Canada. The majority of the offices are within the United States. Obviously, it's a bigger market, but the company is headquartered in Stratford, Ontario. There's over 70 members of staff, and then within those teams at headquarters, we have teams of analysts in telecom, merchant services, shipping, and waste.
Cool. So I have a question. So that all sounds sort of heady and complicated. So what exactly makes Schooley Mitchell the experts in all those areas?
Well, lots of other expense reduction companies are like jack of all trades. They'll come in and they'll look at every single department in your business, all the way down to how much you're spending on, in today's market, toilet paper, pens. It could be telecom, it could be the other areas. But what we do is we focus on 4 specific areas. So we're not a jack of all trades. We're much more focusing on telecom, merchant services, shipping, and the waste industries.
And so, do you have competition? And if so, what makes you different from your competition?
Again, it's that uniqueness that we continue to work within specific industries as opposed to being a jack of all trades. And obviously that we have a huge team at headquarters supporting every single one of us. And also as a franchise, we're very much a family of franchisees, and we bring all that support and all that expertise to the table. It gives us just that little bit extra that other companies don't have.
So I guess I need to understand this. The services you offer are strictly with telecommunications and what else?
It's telecommunications, which is anything from cell phones to landline phones to internet, TV. That includes vehicle tracking devices, electronic logging devices. That's all telecom. If you're paying credit card processing fees, we want to look at your contracts and your billings for errors and improvements on those services. There's small package shipping, which is anything from an envelope up to £150 package, and anything that you pay for waste disposal, absolutely anything. So those are the key industries. And one thing to highlight is that we don't sell those services. We represent the client. It's like I'm in your corner with my team of analysts, knowing what the guys who are trying to sell you these services are doing almost better than they do.
So you go out to the client, you go out to your client and look at what the services they're using in those particular areas, come up with a savings, hopefully. And out of that savings is how you get paid. So you don't get paid till you actually produce some kind of savings.
Yes, our payment is a share of the savings. If we don't produce savings for our clients, we don't get paid. Having said that, it's not just about the savings. When we're doing the audit, we're looking at the services. We'll look at the equipment the client uses. We want to make sure they're completely optimized from equipment, service, all the way through to paying the right price. And one of the huge things that we bring to the table in doing this is that we've got over 22,000 clients. We know what the guy next door to you is paying. We know what the company down the street's paying because we've negotiated so many deals, and we've got that ability to go back to the vendors, and we know what they're charging other customers, because the salespeople won't give you the best price. That's just the nature of the beast. They won't give you the best price. You'll have to try and negotiate that price down. And they'll stop at some point, which is a good deal to you, maybe not the best deal for them, but we can always negotiate further.
So, William, I own a marketing public relations company. And so I'm always, Mike LaVoy sometimes calls me a shameless self-promoter, but I'm always looking for promotional opportunities. Is that something that you do for your client businesses?
Yes, School of Mitchell is very much about helping the business community. For example, if you gave me, well, your logo is actually on my website, and that's a great example. You gave me your logo, my team at headquarters put it on my website under community development within my website. So if somebody comes to my website and sees your logo and clicks and thinks, what's that? It takes them directly to your website. And we do that for all our clients and certain businesses that we work with and talk to within the community. We also actively promote promotions for businesses and social media for free. So for example, if you give me a flyer of information, I send it to headquarters, and my team at headquarters puts it on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, all the social media platforms for absolutely free. So we're definitely trying to help businesses in more ways than just what we do. Also, as franchisees and me personally, I like to help businesses find other ways to save money. For example, I work with another company that does cost reduction in areas that we don't. So that person works side by side with me, and I'm happy to introduce him to my clients, where recently one of those referral partners saved my client $100,000 on property tax. So that's an example of how we're always trying to help our clients with our services, but in other areas as well. And that includes marketing and services we don't deliver.
Well, okay, there's got to be some kind of process here on this. I mean, it's not, you just don't come in the door and start doing this. How do you get started, and what kind of a process do you go through? And pretty much, when will I start saving? When will I start seeing some money back to me?
Yeah, well, the process starts with signing our service agreement. Like any other business transaction, we need an agreement in place. And that's like a 1.5-page document that we have our clients sign that locks us in together for working together. Then they authorize us to represent them so that we can speak to their vendors on their behalf. I will gather the information I need. It's called our fact finding. So for example, for telecom, I'll come in and I'll find out what your equipment is. I want to see at least 3 months worth of billing. And I want to look at the equipment you're using. I'll take photographs and I'll upload that information to my team at headquarters, and they will get to work on it. And then there'll be a little bit of back and forth between me, my analyst, and the client to make sure we've gathered all the information. And then approximately 4 to 6 weeks later, I produce a report. And within that report, we show the client, this is where you're spending your hard-earned money. This is where we recommend you spend your hard-earned money. And importantly, within that document that shows savings, or hopefully shows savings, the client's incumbent vendor will always be in there. So for example, if they're with AT&T, we're going to show them the best price we could negotiate with AT&T. But if we see a really good deal with Verizon or T-Mobile, we'll include that in our report. And then the client gets to choose, and that's the point I was making earlier, but if they accept our recommendations. If we find savings and they accept our recommendations, they get to choose which option, because we're not in bed with the vendors. It's almost the opposite. They don't really like us being there because we bring added expertise to the client's table, because we only get paid via savings. For the client, the vendors don't pay us anything. So it's really up to the client to decide which way they want to go. We do the report, we do the legwork, and it takes a lot of time to do that. And then the client will choose which one, or if any of the options they choose, because even if we find savings and they don't want to do it, they don't have to pay us.
So is there any business too small, any business too large, and what would be a good referral for you?
So we work with small, medium, large businesses all the way up. A good referral for me personally, as a School of Mitchell franchisees, we all bring different experiences and expertise and things that we like to do. I personally like to try and work with more e-commerce businesses. Also, I like working with wholesale distributor businesses, manufacturers. But having said that, any business, I have a tutor client, I have a dentist client, I have an auto repair shop client, as well as some of those bigger ones. And a great example of working with the bigger clients is one of my clients with their shipping costs. Their vendor told us when we started operating for them that there's no savings to be found. The client's on the best deal. So we got to work, and because we've got thousands of clients, we knew the shipping vendor had better deals with other clients. So we went back to the rep and said, you're not giving us the best deal because we know you have a better deal there. So it took about 3 or 4 months to get that deal in place. And we found $60,000 a year of a saving for that client. And that went from a starting point of the vendor saying, you're on the best deal, this is all we've got. And the client doesn't have the time or the knowledge or the energy to continually press on that, but we did. And further to that story, we went back because the vendor had dragged their heels so long. We went back and said, we want some of the backdated money because you took so long from when we started asking for money. We knew that deal was there. So my client recently got just under $10,000 of a rebate added to their account on top of the $60,000 a year we saved. So that's an example of the work that we are doing because we've got the time and the resources, and we even have software tools that looks for billing errors to make sure the clients are getting the best deal, because the reps they're trying to get as much money out of their clients as possible, whereas we're the opposite. We're trying to reduce the client's costs as much as possible.
Well, as a former financial advisor of mine used to say, 2 strategies: make more, spend less. And it sounds like maybe yours is a 3rd strategy, which is have a cost saving strategy in place.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you're a business, how many hurdles do you have to go through to make a sale? You've got your competitors, your peers, your legislation. You've got all that hard work to make money and put it in your profit center. And at the end of every year, you're going to go to a CPA or an accountant and say, keep as much of this money as possible for me. And you're going to pay them whether they do that for you or not. In our case, with shipping, merchant services, waste, and telecom, you're leaking money there. That's a cost to your business. And we're saying, including taking care of us, our share of the savings, you will be paying less in those areas. Therefore, you'll be keeping more money in that profit center that you spent so much hard work to get. Because it's not always about getting more sales to earn profits. You have to look after what you're paying for your business. And the areas we look at often represents 15% or more of a business's costs.
Well, thank you very much. And Mike, I'm going to turn it back over to you. Thanks for sharing your Zoom room today. And William, thank you so much. That's really interesting. And while we are all home, sheltering in place, what a great strategy to look into further. Thank you.
Yeah, one little thing I'd like to add to the story is that the average saving we find is around 28%. So that's money lying on the table. Sometimes it can be lower, it can be 10%. Sometimes it can be, I've found almost 50% in savings from my clients, but the average across the board is 28%. So that's money lying on the table that clients should have in their pocket. And we're only asking for a share of money we find on behalf of the clients.
Well, it seems to me a perfect scenario. The client's not out anything not out anything. I mean, you're saving them money. If you save them $1 and you pay them 50 cents, they're still 50 cents ahead, no matter how you look at it.
Absolutely. And some of the pushback prospective clients will give us is that we've got the best deals. We're tied into a contract. Well, if they are on the best deal, our report will confirm it. So if you really think you've got the best deal, let us do our work. We'll come back with a report and we'll confirm it, and you won't owe us a single penny. And even if you're tied into a contract doesn't mean to say you're on the best price. So having a professional organization like us to be able to apply a little bit of pressure in a nice way, because we don't disrupt relationships between you and your vendors. That's not what it's about. It's making sure that everybody gets the best deal and everybody's happy. So even within a contract, you can still negotiate terms within that contract, or if need be, we can find a deal with you elsewhere that will more than compensate for any early termination fees to get you out of a contract. So it's a complete win-win for the client, because if they are in the best deals, we'll confirm it. If they're not, we will find something better for them, including service and equipment as well as price.
Cool.
So with that savings, I might be able to buy like a house on this beach back here.
Well, the savings is up to you. If you want to invest it back into your business, or take all your staff and to a nice place like that looks like Barbados or something in the background. It's entirely up to you how you spend that money, but it's money you're losing. And what we're saying is we'll get it back for you and you can spend it how you like. And we're only asking for a share of that money that's already gone.
Kelly, I thought you were in Polk County, weren't you? What's that got to do with the beach? There's no beaches over there.
Have you ever heard we are like the chain of lakes up here in Winter Haven? Most people just don't know this is what our lakes look like.
Yeah. Anyhow, Hey, William, thanks for stopping in here and giving us a little brief interview on what you're doing and how you can help your clients.
Absolutely. I'm happy to do so. So anybody listen to this, if you're spending money, we can help you save more.
Cool. Well, we'll
Awesome.
do this
Thank
again next week.
you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.